So, you've picked up EU4, a game where you take control of a country in the 15th century and do whatever you please for the next 400 years. But you have no idea what to do. Where do you start? Well, the tutorial obviously, right? Wrong. Hi, I'm the Red Hawk and I have more than 9 years of experience in EU4, and I'm here to tell newer players and seasoned players as well why you probably shouldn't be playing the EU4 tutorial. So here we are in game, and this is the tutorial interface right when you boot up the game and click tutorial down here, and obviously this is meant to teach you how to play the game, right? Well, not really, or sorta kinda, because the tutorial hasn't been updated probably since the game was released almost 10 years ago. But you know, if you're unfamiliar with the game and unfamiliar that the tutorial is actually not good, you might jump in right here and you know, start playing the tutorial, doing the tutorial, and realizing you have no idea what you're doing. It's not really relevant to when you boot up a real game, and you may notice that a bunch of things are simply outright wrong. But in today's video, I'm here to show you what's wrong in the tutorial, why you shouldn't play it, and I'll offer some tips and tricks along the way what you should do instead. So this isn't a full tutorial from me, this is just nitpicking the tutorial that's in game, and I'll give you a little tips and tricks along the way. So yeah, when you start up the tutorial, obviously you're gonna do the basic tutorial first, right? You got basic control, unit control, production, war, then you got the advanced tutorial, and then you have a little tiny little campaign that you play, you know, to get some real world experience. So obviously this is the first one you would jump in, so let's jump in specifically in this tutorial right here, and we'll see what exactly is wrong with the basic tutorial, if anything is at all, but I do think lots of things will be. Alright, so the game right here puts us in December 8th, 1444, almost a month since the game has started. The tutorials don't actually start on November 11th, 1444. Which is when the game starts, which is the first thing that I think is wrong. Once you jump in, you're immediately bombarded with information like this, all of these pop-ups right here that you don't know what they mean. You take a look at the country, you're playing as England, obviously, the map isn't set up, the keyboard shortcuts don't work, and really the only thing you can do is click with your mouse. So, you can minimize this interface at any point by clicking the minimize button. To show it again, simply click the maximize button. Okay, let's go next. Okay, so now this game puts us in the terrain map mode once you click next. Now this is absolutely horrible. You're never, ever gonna be playing in the terrain map mode. You're pretty much gonna be in the political map mode 99% of the time. Okay, so now it tells us you can at any time pause the game by pressing the space bar or by clicking the time control interface. You can also speed up or slow down time by clicking plus or minus. Unpause the game and wait until January 1st to continue. Okay, so let's unpause it. There we go. We're waiting. You know, we're getting more pop-ups. Time is ticking, and there's January 1st, and you know, the game pauses for us. Okay, when you pause in EU4, you can keep playing, blah, 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 by issuing controls. Now, this is actually a pretty good tip right here. You know, this is completely basic, but some things are still not looking as they should. So, the tips so far have been good. It's about controls. Next, you can use your mouse to move the camera by moving it either to the top, bottom, left, or right of the game. This is pretty much how you move along the map. I know a lot of players actually do this, but a way better way to do this, and by the way, you can't do it on WASD. You could do it on the arrow keys, but it's not really, you know, where your hand is gonna be. The best way to move the map, in my opinion, is a middle mouse click. So click the middle mouse button, and then you can pretty much drag the map. This is how I move my map, and this is, I think, the best way to do it, instead of, you know, edge scrolling or using the arrow keys. Arrow keys are slow, edge scrolling is wonky, so just use the middle mouse button. That's my tip. There we go. The scroll wheel. Next, you often need to change your zoom to get a better view of the world and what is going on in other parts of it. You can zoom by using the scroll wheel. This is exactly what you'll be doing. You probably won't ever click these zoom buttons right here. Completely irrelevant. Just move the map like this. Scroll, move, scroll, move. Simple. To continue, zoom in as close as you can. Okay, there we go. We've zoomed in. So, follow the arrow north to the province of Aberdeen. Okay, so we're following it north. This is the province of Aberdeen right here. Okay, you've learned how to control the camera. In the next chapter, you'll learn about controlling armies and fleets. Okay, let's look next. So, rebels have taken over the province of Dublin. You must defeat them. Select the army stationed in London by clicking it or holding the left mouse button and dragging the selection box over the army. Okay, this is still good tips right here, but we're still in the completely useless terrain map mode. Either way, you can select the army by clicking it or by doing this right here. This is how I usually do it. Now that we've selected the army, right-click on any province to move it there. To get the Pale, you first need to get the Gwynedd. Have the army selected and right-click on Gwynedd, then unpause the game so the unit moves there. Okay, so now I'm just doing what the game wants me to do, selecting this army and moving it right here. And we're gonna unpause the game. Of course, I'm gonna speed up time a bit right here just you know, for the sake of it. Okay, so here we are in this province. You'll need to transport the army by boat. Click the attach the transport button to load the army into the ships at Gwyned's port. When a transport ship has units, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is pretty much telling you use this very outdated method by selecting the army, clicking attach the transport. Now our army is attached to the transport, and now we're gonna select the fleet and take it to the Irish Sea. And now we're gonna click this transport button and click over here. That is a completely outdated way of doing it, okay? How you really do it in 2023 or 2024, wherever you're watching it, is you select the army from here and just click here. The boats will come to here, the army will get loaded onto the boats automatically, and it'll automatically get here. This is an outdated way of doing it. There's no need to do it at all. Just select the army and click wherever you want to go. If you got the boats, it'll take the army there. Okay, there we go. Now this army is going to land here and beat up the rebels. Another problem we have right here is there is no general in charge of this army, right? The game didn't tell us to put a general in charge, so now these guys are going to take more casualties than they need to. Either way, let's beat up the rebels. There we go. Now they're fighting the battle. And now, you know, when we click on this, we can see the battle right here. You can see your roles, the terrain, the morale, you know, everything happening between the two armies right here. And there we go. We've defeated them. This province is sieged down. Unfortunately, we're still in the terrain interface, which I'm going to keep being in just so you guys see how wonky this is. And okay, now we got to unsiege the province. There we go. The province has been unsieged. And we defeated the rebels and recaptured Dublin. You have completed chapter 2 of the tutorial. In the next chapter, we'll learn about production. This didn't really teach us anything. It really didn't teach us anything at all. And I'm going to go back to political here because my eyes are burning looking at the terrain. So what did the game tell us to do? Just click on some buttons, right? This is the first tutorial where the game doesn't even explain what this is, what this is, what this is, what anything up here is. What are these pop-ups? What is this right here? What are diplomats, merchants, armies, navies, estates? What are estates? What is the map here? What are these buttons here? What are these buttons here? What is this down here? It hasn't told us anything. It's just told us to unpause the game and move an army from London over to Dublin in a very, very outdated way. The way you do this is like this. That's it. Okay, no need to put your army here. Click this button while the boats are docked, then move the boats to here, then click on the boats again, select the army transport, then click here. Just do it like this. There we go. Just click right there. It's super, super simple. Either way, those are just some of the things that are wrong with the first 2 chapters of the tutorial. Let's move on with the next one. In this chapter, you'll learn about recruiting regiments, building ships, and constructing buildings. All production takes place in a province. Yes, of course. So let's click on London. There we go. Now, each province is different and has different economic or military value depending on such things as base tax, trade power, trade goods they produce. Really, there are so many things here, and I remember when starting EU4 way back when, this was probably one of the most daunting interfaces, the province view. Okay, so what is this? What is this? What is this? What is all of this? And the tutorial doesn't explain any of that. What is this window right here? What happens if you click this and another window pops up? What happens if you click this and another window pops up? How do you get back? What is this? What if I click here? What if I click on this? What if I click here? You know, it's just, it really doesn't explain anything at all. But yeah, let's go ahead and click next and follow along with the tutorial. Armies consist of regiments that can be 3 different types: infantry, cavalry, or artillery. Each regiment has 1,000 soldiers. Yes, okay, so we're still in the province interface. Click recruit regiment to continue. Okay, so you think this is how you recruit armies, right? Well, yeah, but also not really. So okay, let's click here. The game wants us to recruit any regiment in London to continue. So you click on the Latin medieval infantry, and there we go. It's recruiting in London. Now we need to go back here and we need to click the build a ship button. What is the build a ship button? There's no arrow now. Either way, there's the build a ship button, and it's telling us to build a galley or whatever, or it's telling us what kind of ships there are. So heavies, lights, galleys, transports, and flagships. But you know, you might look at the names right here and you don't know what they are. What is an early carrack? What is a bark? What is a galley, right? It should say this is a heavy ship, this is strong for this and this and this. You know, it has it right there below the engagement width, but it should tell you that right off the bat instead of hovering. Either way, let's build a galley. So another thing that's wrong: why would you build an army right here, wait for it to recruit, then build the boat? right? Why not just, you know, build them in a different province? Either way, this is the buildings tab right here. It's telling us to construct a building. There we go. What does it want us to build? Any building in London. There we go. There's a church, for example. Boom, just like that. It gets insta-built. And there are two different queues for the production interface. The unit queue allows you to either build a ship or recruit a regiment. And then the building queue allows you to build buildings. Okay, so we're good with that. As an empire grows larger, it becomes more difficult to manage. The production interface will help you with constructing large amount of buildings or training troops. Select a building from the list. We'll update the map mode. Okay, so this is really how you do it, and I'm glad the game actually points this out instead of building specifically from the province. So you go right here. Okay, and this is the way you actually do it. So you select a unit from the list, and then you just build, you know, armies, you know, in various provinces like that. So the game wants us to recruit 5 regiments. There we go. There's 5. Let's just unpause. And there we go. They've been recruited. And that concludes chapter 3, production. In the next chapter, you'll learn about war. What did we learn? We didn't really learn a whole lot in this tutorial, man. If you're playing along, if you're a newer player, I'm just putting myself in the space of a newer player. You still don't know what any of this up here is. So we opened the production interface and built an army. Okay, what's this? 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 What are all of these right here? What is all of this right here? What is this? We haven't learned anything, man. We just built some troops, built a building, built a boat, and beat up rebels without a general using an outdated method of transportation, and the game wanted us to lock in the terrain map mode. I'm salty. Okay, so now the game wants us to declare war. When you declare war on a target, you want to have a CB on them. If you do not have a CB or justification for war, you will suffer negative effects from declaring war on them. Okay, this is good advice. If you right-click Leinster province, you will notice the declare war button when you click on it. You will see that you only have the option of no CB. Fortunately, your nation has a core on the Leinster province, which will grant you a CB to take it. However, like many other elements of the game, the CB will be updated after running the game a few in-game days. Unpause the game for a few days, then click the Leinster province, then click diplomacy and select declare war. Select the conquest CB with take Leinster as a war goal, and then click declare war. Okay, so the game wants us to notice that we have no way of declaring war. Only no CB will lose stability and gain war exhaustion. This is negative. So let's unpause. There we go. We've gotten the CB. Now we can declare a reconquest, by the way, one of the best CBs in the game, on the nation of Leinster right here. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. We've declared war. Move your troops into the Leinster province to engage the army. You must also besiege and occupy the province before you can continue. If you want to bring all your troops, you'll have to ferry them over and merge them into one army. Okay, so once again, no general right here. He's available, by the way, but the game never tells us to hire him. Let's do it like the game wants us to do it. There we go. We've defeated them, and now we have a fort to siege. And so we're standing on this province waiting to siege it down, right? What the game doesn't tell us is that we're taking massive amounts of attrition. Troops are dying. Look, it's decreasing. So a little tip from me right here. If it's a level 1 fort, you can select your army, create a new unit, and get rid of all but 4 regiments right here. And take these guys away so they don't attrition. 4 is enough to siege down a level 1 fort. And there we go. We've defeated Leinster. So the game wants us to select the Leinster province, then click diplomacy and select sue for peace. Remember to unpause the game. So it wants us to do this, then this, then this. No. No one does that. Literally no one does that. The way you do it is you right click on the country and select sue for peace. So why would you go through 17 different interfaces? Or you just right click on this right here, bruh. It's so simple. Then you click on the province, and usually you would take all their money. This game doesn't tell us to do that. And there we go. There's the send demand, and we've conquered that province. Perfect. When a war ends, your 2 nations will have a truce unless you annex them, because they can no longer exist. You can see which countries you have a truce with, and when they expire by hovering the mouse over the truce alert, which is not even here. It's not here. Okay, next. This concludes the basic tutorial for EU4. You can replay the tutorial at any time if you wish to, play the advanced game mechanics part, and find out more about EU4's features, the Spanish Empire Beginners Campaign. Click exit to go back to the tutorial menu. Yeah, this was not good at all. The game still doesn't tell us anything. When do we learn? Okay, maybe it'll tell us in advanced game mechanics. Let's see what the next tutorial has to offer. But if we're rating this on a 1 to 10 scale, this tutorial is a 1 for me. So it just confirms my suspicions that you shouldn't play it. Let's move on to the advanced game mechanics. Let's see if we learn anything there. All right, so here we are in the tutorial interface once again, and this is the advanced tutorial. It'll go through the interface. Why is the interface after? Why isn't the interface the map modes first? And how does trade even you know what? I'm not gonna rant anymore. Let's just jump into the interface tutorial. And I realize you guys can't see actually the map modes and the map behind me and stuff like that, but you know, it's not really a big deal. All right, so now we're playing as Venice on December 1st, 1444. Also, England and Venice, they're not good starting nations, bro. Don't include them in the tutorial. Just do the Ottomans or Castile or something. Either way, this chapter will go through the interface and explain what the interface does. Next, okay. Ducats are one of the primary resources and are used to pay for everything from unit recruitment to building construction. Okay, now we know that. Manpower is an important resource that puts a limit on how many soldiers your nation can have. The manpower cap represents 10 years of manpower. Recruiting a regiment will cost 1k per regiment. Reinforcing armies that have taken casualties in war will also drain your manpower. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Why did it skip sailors though? It didn't tell us about sailors. It's pretty much the same as manpower. Stability represents how stable your nation is. Stability is connected to unrest, tax income, global trade power, and more. Stability can be increased in the stability and expansion tab and cost admin points. Stability can be lost through random events, breaking truces, changing state religion, or having your ruler die in combat. Okay, there we go. We know about stab. Corruption. Corruption is bad. That's pretty much what this tutorial tells us. Then we got prestige. Prestige is good. We got legitimacy and Republican tradition. Now, you know, Republican tradition might be confusing for some players since you're mostly going to be playing monarchies and it's not going to have Republican tradition here. It's going to be legitimacy, but it's pretty much the same thing except Republican tradition is more annoying to get. And there we go. It just tells us basic things over here. Okay, so far it's good at explaining these things. Now it's telling us about power projection. Okay, we're good. And now it's telling us about our envoys. So we got, you know, merchants, colonists, diplomats, missionaries. So yeah, it's just a simple explanation on all of those guys. Now it's telling us about monarch points. Okay, everything is good so far except the missing of the sailors. Now it's telling us about the alerts. Red alerts are urgent, yellow are important, and green are non-urgent. Diplo offers will also appear here. Okay, everything is legit so far. Then we got the production interface, which we did in the basic tutorial. Now it's telling us about the HRE. Okay, so stop, hold it. So we went away from here. The game didn't tell us what this is. It didn't tell us what this is, and what sailors are, or what this is. So out of everything over here in the top, we've missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thingies. Okay, let's move on. It's telling us about the HRE. Well, what if you play in Africa? You're not gonna see the HRE. Okay, so next, it's telling us about the papacy. Okay, but you're only gonna see this if you're Catholic. Once again, not completely relevant to every nation. And it missed the factions, which you're only gonna see if you're playing certain types of republics. So, you know, Venice, a bad pick for this, man, a bad pick. Okay, now it's telling us about the outlier. Okay, so no need to tell us about that. This is always gonna be open. Next, what is next? Okay, the score. This is completely irrelevant. I think 99% of players don't care about this. Completely irrelevant. Never pay attention to this. Next, it's telling us about the map modes. Okay, once again, we're moving from the top right to the bottom right. Okay, so what is the show timeline button? Didn't tell us. Didn't tell us about the music. Didn't tell us about the date. It did tell us about these controls earlier. Okay, so now you can't really see the maps behind me. Let me remove my cam just so you can see everything right here. Okay, so it's telling us about map modes. Different types of map modes. The default map mode is the terrain map mode. No, EU4. The default map mode is the political map mode. Okay, never play in this. You're never, ever, 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 ever gonna use this. Next, let's continue. Political map mode. Okay, this is the main map mode. Thank for staying. Trade map mode. Okay, relevant. Imperial map mode. Somewhat relevant, I guess, if you're playing in the HRE. Next, religious map mode. Yes, pretty important. And diplomat mode. Super, super important as well. This is not the way I have my map mode set up. This is the default map mode. If you see my videos, you'll pretty much notice, you know, how my map modes are set up. There we go. So, next, more map modes. So it's telling us about more map modes over here. Okay, there we go. Next to continue. End of the chapter. So it pretty much covered a little bit of what the game looks like, missing the country view, missing the great powers, missing government reforms, missing sailors, missing the age mechanics, missing, you know, some other interfaces down here. You know, I don't think these should be mentioned. They're very country specific most of the time. And now it's moving on into trade, something that even the most experienced players have trouble grasping. But the game is telling us, no, it's time to learn about trade. So let's go ahead and learn about trade. Next, there we go. Okay, so trade. It's telling us about trade nodes, trade goods, trade value. Click on Venice to continue, and please stop bringing me back to terrain. Okay, there's Venice. Okay, so it tells us about trade node interface for Venice, but it's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. So this is how you get into the trade node interface for Venice. No, literally no one does this, man. You just click here and then click here. You click on the trade map mode, which is right behind me. You guys can't see it. But then you click on the trade node. That's it. No one ever does, you know, what the game just told us to do, clicking on the province and clicking on this button. Either way, okay, we're next. Now click, what does it want us to do? Okay, I guess I shouldn't have moved the map. Your merchants can perform 2 actions on trade node. Collect trade, collect income, transfer trade power. Okay, have a merchant collect trade in the Venice trade node to continue. Okay, so this is how we do that. Collect trade, there we go. Okay, but as Venice, you don't really want to collect in Venice. I'm not even going to get into it. Okay, so now it wants us to select Alexandria, and then, what does it want us to do? Transfer trade power. Okay, there we go. We've done that. It's telling us about trade nodes, trade steering, end nodes. Sure, okay, I guess this is relevant advice. Next, trade power. Trade power directly affects how large portion of a trade you control. Trade power comes from provinces, light ships, diplo advisors, global trade. Okay, select your ship in the port of Venice. Okay, I've selected them, but I did that. Okay, it didn't tell me to only select the light ships, which are used for trade, by the way. Okay, select mission, heavy ships, protect trade in a trade node. Okay, let's have them protect in Venice. Okay, now you can build more light ships or by having them protect more trade power. Click the production interface. Okay, now what does it want us to do? Build 3 light ships. This is too confusing for a new player, man. This is, yeah, I don't think this game should be telling you this at this point. There we go. We're waiting for the ships to recruit. There we go. They've recruited. Click exit. And that concludes the end of the trade? No way. Well, that's how you trade, ladies and gentlemen. Protect trade, transfer trade power, and build the light ships. I'm choking. I'm allergic to bad advice. Where are the centers of trade? What are estuaries? What is this? What is this? What is this? What are all these numbers? What is this? What is this? What is everything right here? What are these? What is this? 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 What are all of these guys doing here? What are the trade buildings? If you go into production right here in the buildings, you want marketplaces. How is that relevant for trade? I guess none of this other stuff is relevant for trade, right? Wrong. Maybe these things that didn't exist back then. I don't know. I don't remember. What about the estates? What about all of this right here? What about all of this right here? Listen, if you're a new player, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared. What is two feud rivals? What is a native policy? And why does Venice have a native policy? What is advisors? What is truce will expire? What is Catholic? Merchants, seize land. What is seizing land? Summoning a diet, selling titles. What is all of this? What happens if you go here? What are all of these interfaces? It's so scary and the game doesn't explain anything, man. It doesn't explain anything. But that's the end of chapter 2, apparently. Now you know the advanced stuff about EU4. Alright, so now let's go to the final part of this tutorial, the Spanish Empire beginner campaign, where this part of the tutorial will go through the mechanics in a way that more accurately would mimic a real game. You'll learn about declaring war, annexing countries, and how to manage conquered lands. You'll also learn about events, stability, rebels, and exploration. Alrighty then, let's see what this third part of the tutorial has to offer. Alright, so we're thrown into a game as Castile in 1492. Wonderful, that's definitely a date you're gonna be playing. Okay, so army recruitment is an important aspect of going to war. Recruitment in progress takes place in a province, but can be started in 2 ways. Either through the production interface in the top left, or by clicking the recruit regiment button in a province. Each regiment costs 1,000 manpower. But we already did this in the England tutorial, didn't we? Alright, let's do what the game wants us to do, and thankfully, we're in the political map right now. So let's go right here. And the game wants us to select a regiment from the list on the left and click the green provinces to start recruitment. Each regiment costs 1,000 manpower as well as ducats. Okay, we know that. Recruit 5 land units to continue. Alright, so let's recruit our armies, but look, here's another problem. You see this army force limit right here, 36. That means you can have 36 regiments, allowed, sorta. Anything above that, they cost way more, and you're sorta kinda not supposed to do that. So we're already full on our armies, but the game wants us to recruit 5 more. Okay, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Now we're above force limit, and we're gonna waste a lot of money doing that. Let's unpause the game. There we go, the guys have been recruited, and the outlier isn't even open. Let's go ahead and open that up. Don't slow it down for me. When you declare war on a target, you want to have a CB. We already did that once again up here. So the game wants us to right-click the Granada province and select Declare War. Select the Conquest CB with Take Granada as war goal, and then click Declare War. Okay, there's Take Granada. Okay, we don't have Declare War, we have Confirm. Okay, the war overview window gives you an overview on how the war is going, who the belligerents are, and who the war leader of each side is. Battles and sieges are listed in the bottom. Okay, we're doing that. Thank you. Next. The results of the war will be recorded and presented as war score. War score is gained by occupying provinces, blah, 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 blah. War score decides what you can demand in a peace offer. Have a war score of 100% to continue. How? How do we do that? Well, I guess you would sort of assume from what you did to Leinster earlier on. So now what? We go and beat up Granada? Okay, once again, the game doesn't tell us to recruit generals. It doesn't tell us to rearrange our armies. By the way, this composition is horrible. If we take a look at this, really our armies need to be 24-4 right now, but you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't know that. So let's just do something a new player would do. Select all the armies and put them right here. There we go. Everyone has arrived right there. Okay, so now maybe you want to go and beat those guys up. So maybe you take all of these guys and take them there, right? You don't really know. Okay, so now you just select one of these guys and go and siege these provinces, I guess. Okay, there we go. Now we're attritioning here. You can't even merge with G. There we go. We're sieging down the provinces. We got Granada. Very nice. Let's get Malaga as well. There we go. We've defeated Granada, an ally-less Granada in 1493, everyone. Yeah. Okay, so let's click here. Okay, not right there. Maybe right here. Nope. It's actually this. Let's go ahead and peace out Granada and full annex them. There we go. This concludes the Reconquista chapter of the Spanish Empire campaign. All right, well, that's some nice education here. Click next to continue the chapter. Your ruler is very important for the development of your country. You have 3 resources which combined are called monarch points. They're admin points, diplo points, and mill points. You gain monarch points each month, and the amount of depends on your monarch skills and your advisors. Okay, advisors, you have a free advisor. Alert, go to the court tab. Okay, so we click on this, and we hire an advisor. There we go. There's an advisor. Excellent. Core provinces are provinces that your nation considers their homelands. It is important to make provinces into core provinces to avoid overextension. A province that is not a core province has significantly reduced tax and manpower. Having a claim on a recently conquered province will reduce the cost and time it takes to make a core. Make a core in Granada to continue. All right, so you click here and click this, huh? That's not really how you do it. Generally, go up here and click this and click core all or something like that. Okay, let's continue. Let's wait for these to core up. There we go. Actually, good thing that the tutorial is super fast, by the way, and the game doesn't tell you to step off if you're attritioning either. And there we go. The provinces are cored. Excellent. Maintaining religious unity is important for keeping your nations stable and rebel-free. To have religious unity, you must convert provinces to your state religion. Converting the religion of a province requires a missionary. Conversion progress can be improved by high stability. Okay, so now the game wants us to convert Granada. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And by the way, there are a bunch of other provinces that we need to convert as well. Either way, more on that later, I guess, or not. There we go. Let's convert Granada. There we go. Okay, we've converted Granada. Now the game wants us to build a church in Granada. How is this relevant at all? I don't know. And there we go. Okay, so now the game wants us to boost stability. Okay, so you go and click here, nothing happens. The arrow is over here. How do I boost stability, you ask? Well, you go over here and then click here. There we go. Now the game wants us to do a royal marriage with Portugal. Okay, so click a province in Portugal to open up the diplomacy with them. Okay, that's how you do it apparently, not like this. Dynastic actions, royal marriage. Boom, there it is. We've royal married Portugal. Having royal marriages increases your legitimacy over time, but will give you a one-time reduction of legitimacy that depends on the difference in prestige and legitimacy of the two countries. Having royal marriages with another nation gives you a chance of merging your dynasties and possibly entering a PU. Now, it's weird that the game mentions this right at the start, since it's not really a common thing. It's not really a common occurrence that you counter a PU. Players might start this game hoping, oh, I'll just royal marry everyone, and then the ruler dies, and you're like, wait, why am I not the ruler of that country either? That's not how PU work. Either way, there's next. Decisions allow you to reform your nation in some way. Click the national decisions available, go to the decisions tab. And the nations wants us to form Spain and tech. Open the technology tab to continue. Click this. Click OK. Click next. Okay, what? It's telling me about institutions, but we don't have any institutions to embrace. Weird. You know, tech is the only thing that they've explained over here, right? Next. Admin tech, open the ideas tab to continue. Okay, ideas, select the exploration idea group to continue. Okay, so this is how we do it. There's exploration ideas. This concludes the Spanish Inquisition chapter of the Spanish Empire. All right, click next to continue the next chapter. Exploration and colonization is an important part in EU4. Discovering new lands and founding new settlements is a relatively peaceful way of expanding your empire. Click next to continue. All right, there's next. Uncharted lands are hidden. You need to explore. Okay, so the game wants us to select your fleet in Sevilla. Okay. Assign it a leader. Well, there's a leader. Finally, it tells us to assign a leader, and it's a freaking explorer, not an admiral or a general or converting your rulers and heirs into generals or anything like that, but either way. So now the game wants us to explore in the most outdated way possible by clicking on a terra incognita province. Okay, so that's not how you do it in that's just not how you do it. You just go here, select a mission, and well, there should be explore right here, but there isn't. And it's also telling us to do it with heavies. You want to do it with 3 light ships. All right, well, I guess let's explore the old-fashioned way then by clicking on provinces. Don't do this, guys. Just select a mission and click explore, man, with 3 light ships. Remember to assign an explorer as well. This is like so outdated, it's not even funny. Okay, so now uncolonized land can be settled by sending a colonist there. How far you may, colonial range, natives, blah, blah, blah. Click on Tortuga to continue. Okay, now we need to send a colonist. Click send to continue, but you can't. That's right, because we need to select our native policy, which I guess didn't exist right at the start. And now you're wondering, how do I select the native policy? Well, you just go right here. Okay, there we go. Now we can send a colonist, but then you think, okay, what is this? What is expel minority? What is send a colonist? Not a lot of explanations. Okay, let's unpause. There we go. Apparently we've colonized it. Once settled, the colony will take some time to grow before it becomes self-sufficient. The amount of new settlers in the colony will increase each month, and it needs 1,000 settlers to become self-sufficient. Having a colonist present will increase the growth of settler population. Click next to continue, and that's apparently the end of the entire EU4 tutorial. Yeah, if you haven't gotten it by now, I don't think I need to spell it out for you. Everything we showcased in this tutorial so far and everything I think you've seen, especially players that know about the game, you know, newer players might be confused. You're gonna be like, what's wrong with what the game is explaining? Even though I tried to explain a little bit what's wrong, but man, players that have played EU4 at least a little bit, maybe even just 100 hours, they'll be like, yeah, this tutorial, don't ever play it, bro. And yeah, I think even if you're a newer player or a more seasoned player, I think by now you've realized why you shouldn't do the EU4 tutorial. So how do I learn EU4, you ask? Well, there are various tutorials over on YouTube that are outdated. Don't watch them. I see people recommending tutorials from, you know, they're like, okay, I just got into EU4. How do I learn this game? And they'll be like, there's a tutorial from this guy or that guy. It's 8 years old, but it's still relevant. No, nothing is relevant unless it's the current patch or current update. There are so many guide videos over on YouTube, nation-specific guide videos. I'm talking my videos, other creators as well. Check them out, check mine out, check their videos out as well. Just make sure you're watching a playthrough for the current patch or the current update that EU4 is on. So let's say right now we're at 136, the 136 update, and you've decided you want to play as the Ottomans because they are probably the easiest nation in the game. And then, you know, I wonder if the console works here. Let me see. Yeah, it does. And then, you know, you jump in as the Ottomans and you still don't know anything. Okay, what are all of these things right here? Blah, blah, blah. But by just going into, you know, the game as the Ottomans and opening up the tutorial for the Ottomans on your second monitor or something like that, and following along with what the creator is doing, let's just say myself following along with what I'm doing, even if you don't know things by doing them, you will get the hang of what they are. So, you know, we start the tutorials off usually by explaining, you know, the estate setup. And you're going to be thinking, okay, I'm going to summon the Diet. That's what Red Hawk told me to do. And then when you click this, you actually, okay, so let me see what summoning the Diet is. And you read here, okay, estates will gain influence and will gain loyalty. So they'll like me, but they'll be more powerful as well. Okay, and then I say, you know, select whichever one is best for you. And you hover over these and you see, which one of these would be the easiest or most beneficial to accomplish? And then you go through them. Okay, so dev this province up to 5 and they'll gain prestige and loyalty? Sure. And then, you know, you go into the province, develop it up to 5. And when you unpause, you know, hey, I completed the estate agenda. Then when I tell you give this estate that privilege, you'll see what it does over here. Okay, so we're giving this estate this privilege because it gives us +1 monthly admin points. That's pretty good. We're giving this one right here because it gives us an advisor discount. We're giving, you know, this one right here because we're getting more Diplo rep, other nations like us more, So, you know, you follow along what I'm doing, but you explore a little bit by yourself as well. And that's pretty much how you learn the game, man. And it's okay if you suck, right? You know, you lose the campaign, you start off a new one. If you're, you know, newer, maybe you could jump into a non-Iron Man game that enables you to use cheats like, for example, I don't know, Cash 100 and boom. you gain 100 ducats or something like that. I don't recommend this too much since you might start relying on it too much. I think the best way, to do it is non-Iron Man, so you can make saves and, go back. If you mess something up, let's just say you lose a war, I'll reload the save and go back and do everything all over again rather than using cheats. I think cheats is, it'll become too much of a crutch if you understand what I'm saying. So jump into a campaign, follow a latest tutorial for that country specifically, and no need to look through any of those guides that are made 5 or 6 or 8 years ago, or play the EU4 tutorial or anything like that, because they're not really relevant to what the game is looking like currently. Sure, there will be some basic explanations telling you some things, but really the way you learn it is by playing, man. And that's all I have to say about that. So don't do the EU4 tutorial and don't watch outdated tutorials. Just play the game, follow along with a playthrough or with a guide or something like that. And yeah, I think you'll get the hang of it eventually. And that's all I have to say about that. But definitely let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a tutorial, basic EU4 tutorial from me, pretty much explaining everything that the actual tutorial doesn't explain, and maybe a little playthrough of the initial 10 years of the campaign without any editing, so you see exactly what I do as a sort of a teaching moment or something like that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like. It really helps out a lot. And if you like the content and want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of them. And you can become a member today and join the Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another EU4 video.